Mustang PEK 3685 back here with my first benchmark of Shadow of the Tomb Raider on MSI GE73 i7-8750H GTX1070 8GB and then it's 16GB of RAM. So this is the current temperatures and frames per second, and at the moment we are starting off in the low preset, and we'll go through them all. And just for information, it's not being put into overclock or turboed. It's on the standard out the box at the moment, so just to make everyone aware of that. It's not been on MSI Afterburner either. It's not been increased. The core of the clock has not been increased. It's at 0, it's at standard, just to make everyone aware of that. And some people can maybe say, why are you shooting on your iPad? And the reason why is, it gives a more accurate frame rate. Usually when you use recording software, it's not as accurate. So, I know it might not be the same overall quality, so just bear in mind that you're not going to get to see the exact image quality that I see or the exact frame rate, but you're going to get to see the true stats without it being reduced from a recording program. So we're just about nearly finished for low. And we should get a score coming up here. So there's the score for low. So the settings on the left hand side for your information. Frames rendered 11,153, average frames per second 72 it's saying there with that in-game benchmark. So we're going to go into medium now, which is like the kind of console standard graphics basically. Bear in mind obviously Xbox One X and PS4 Pro has a few extras and a slightly higher resolution, but this is the sort of console standard level of graphics here coming up, and we'll see how the frame rate goes here. And this is in 1080p on 120 Hz 3 millisecond monitor or panel. Beg your pardon. Just to advise as well, I have undervolted for this because I always feel that's a sensible thing to do when you're running a GTX1070 8GB and a i7-8750H, which can get quite warm at times. The undervolt has been minus 150 on the cache and minus 150 on the CPU. GPU has been slightly undervolted by minus 50. So apart from that, the core clock on MSI Afterburner and the cache have not been boosted. So it's out the box in that sense, but it has been undervolted. Okay. This is also the latest NVIDIA driver downloaded as well from the, I think it was the 13th of November. That's the latest update at the moment, 2018. And this is DX12. So what I'm going to do is, as well as posting the times to jump to the certain graphic settings, I'm also going to post another video with DirectX 12 off to see the differences in frame rate. So that's the medium benchmark been completed. We're about 7 minutes in. We've got 2 more, I think, to do. So we've got high, and I think there's a very high. So we will get high started as soon as it's ready to go. And it's ready to go. So this is now on to high settings, which is obviously better than your standard console experience, better textures, extra features or graphical tweaks that you may not see on a console. So this is the benchmark coming up for that.
¡Hey! ¡Cuidado, niños!
Just also please note as well that the brightness that you may see may not reflect what I'm seeing, because the brightness overall and the colours are excellent on this panel. They're really good. It's got a very high colour percentage, so colours look more natural. It does look great. I know maybe in recording it may look a wee bit kind of more maybe washed out slightly, but with my eyes it's not. I think it's just because obviously it's been recorded. And that's the quality standard of it. There it all appears. These benchmarks, Tomb Raider ones, do funny things sometimes when it comes to loading these things in. So far in a lot of the parts of the benchmark here we're in the 70s, 80s, more intense series, we're going into the 60s. According to the white counter down, well, to the right hand side of the frames per second at the bottom there, it's saying roughly frames is averaging around, this is obviously an average 68 overall. Obviously bear in mind that that's changing as we do the benchmark here. We'll get a more accurate average at the end of this benchmark here for this few minutes video. So that's high completed, and that's us nearly 11 minutes. We're nearly at the end of the very first benchmark in GE73 Raider RGB 8RF, and so far excellent. Results: frames rendered 10,382. Average FPS for that benchmark was 66. Now we're going to go with the highest setting here, the preset, and as you can see to the left, this is what the highest preset is. And we're going to start the benchmark now for highest. And then we will finish up this video. So as I was saying, this is with DX12 on, which for the newer processors, I don't know if it may possibly the 8th gen processors, I'm not sure about the 7th gen, but it's more beneficial, you get a bit higher frame rate with the DX12 on. And I'll do a wee video with it off as well, just to see if anyone wants to see it for a comparison. So the lowest there in that scene was around the mid-50s on the highest settings, which pretty damn good for a laptop 1070 8GB. Bear in mind it's not quite as powerful, it's not far, but it's not quite as powerful as its desktop brother. The jungle here, we're in the 60s zone, holding pretty much at the 60s area. So this is the last part of the benchmark coming up, and then we'll finish up. Please give us a like if you like my videos and you like what I do. Tap the bell, and anytime I upload more videos you'll get notified. If you get any comments, feel free to post below. Any requests, let me know, because I'm doing benchmarks on the GE73 Raider RGB 8RF i7 8750H GTX1070 8GB, and it has 16GB of RAM. Whew, that was quite a lot of information there. So obviously I've been doing this benchmark for nearly 15 minutes now. The temperature's going up a wee bit, obviously. Now this is obviously because as well we're putting the GPU and the CPU under a wee bit of strain. So it's a wee bit normal for the temperatures to go up a wee bit here, as you can see on the left hand side. It's in the 70s, the low 70s, high 60s, which is perfectly fine. You don't want to be going any more than 85, you go any more than 85 and that's not good. But we're quite a good bit away from there at the moment, which is good. You don't want to be going over 85. So let's see what the score was for highest settings. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I'm going to do another benchmark coming up shortly next. And I'll just do the Tomb Raider series to start off with, considering this is the MSI GE73 Raider. We'll do a special 3 Tomb Raider benchmarks. We'll do Shadow, of the Tomb Raider, a Rise of the Tomb Raider, and the original Tomb Raider. So there you go, there's the score. Frames rendered 9,798, average FPS 62. Yeah, so first benchmark, very good, pretty damn impressive. Temperatures have come down again there, so obviously we're putting under a wee bit of strain when we do the benchmark. That's the idea of it. So there you go, thanks for watching, and I will be back soon with more benchmarks and one with DirectX 12 off as well.